This is Kristen Malafchuk, and I'm here with Natalie Summers. And Natalie is a independent supports coordinator for Community Living Services, which is one of the providers that provides public mental health services in Michigan. And they provide services to people with developmental disabilities like me. So Natalie, could you first explain what a supports coordinator does?
Sure. A supports coordinator does just what the name implies. We provide coordination for supports for people with disabilities, whatever it is that they need in their lives, whether it be housing supports, employment, staffing supports, that sort of thing. We link people with the supports in their community if they're unable to find them themselves.
Okay, so you're kind of like the broker of whatever resources and services are out there and available to the person.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, and is personal care services or physical assistance ever part of those services that people need?
Yes.
That you help with?
Yes, absolutely they are. There's a lot of people that can't do that for themselves, so they have to rely on staff to help them in that area. So if there are people that need those services, we help link them to services in the community like DHS, for instance, Adult Home Help.
Okay. And could you describe to me what the difference between Adult Home Help and Community Living Support Services are?
Yes. Adult Home Help is designed to help people with either personal care or housekeeping services for people that can't do it on their own. Community Living Supports are designed to either teach, guide, or direct somebody to learn a new skill.
Okay, and with the physical supports in the home, are those allowed to be used outside of the home in the community to do anything?
Yes. Yes, a lot of times people that have staffing supports need to get out into the community to either do their grocery shopping, errands, even to socialize with their friends. So they need their staff to help them do these things, to get them ready to get out of the house, and then a lot of times they need them to drive them someplace wherever they're going.
Okay. And how dependent would you say people are on these services that get them to be able to be active in their community?
Absolutely dependent on them. Without those, they can't do the things that everybody else can do. They can't get out of their house necessarily. They can't drive anywhere, so they can't go visit their friends. A lot of times it comes down to just basic needs. They can't shower themselves, can't get in and out of bed, that sort of thing.
Okay, and currently, for those of you watching, there's been some major budget cuts in Michigan to the public mental health system and those services. How would you say that's been affecting people that require personal care services?
Well, it's been affecting them a lot. A lot of people that I support had their services cut because they just weren't allowed to have that many anymore, so they weren't able to maybe get as many staffing hours as they had before, so that really limits them in the ability to be able to get out of the house. Sometimes they have to be left home alone and they're not able to do things on their own, so they are not able to get food, use the bathroom or anything until staff comes back.
Okay, and for the ones that need the support and have had their services cut, how, in the meantime, when they're not getting the care from paid staff, how are they having their needs met?
They have to rely back on their family and friends, which is very hard because a lot of people's family and friends already hold down full-time jobs, so they're not as available either. Okay. So it makes it very difficult.
Do you know of any people that use these services to be able to work or have employment?
I do. Okay. And yeah, they definitely need their staffing supports in order to be able to get out and go to their job, to get ready to go, to get out of the house, to be driven to wherever they need to be, and then once they're at work, a lot of times they need their staff to help them do things at their job, whether it be reach things, make copies of stuff, that sort of thing.
Okay. And have you known anybody's employment to be affected by these budget cuts?
Yes, I have. Yep, there are people that would like to work, but aren't able to because they don't have the staffing supports in place to allow them to be able to go out and get a job and then to hold down that job because they have somebody with them that can help them while they're at work.
Okay. And have you known anybody to have to actually become more dependent on other government resources or benefits because of these cuts to personal care services?
Mostly I just know that people have had to rely more on the adult home help as a means of getting their services because Department of Human Services has to be the first avenue that we go through if somebody requires either personal care or housekeeping services. DHS gives people very minimum amount of hours. I've not seen in my experience where they've given a great amount of hours. The most I've seen is 3 hours a day.
Okay, and what other backup resources, is there any other backup resources for personal care services other than the DHS or community living supports?
Yeah, there's other companies out there that might be able to help, like there's the ARC of Oakland County, I don't know, there's Easter Seals, that sort of thing, but I think those kind of companies, you still have to go through an intake process and all that stuff, and I'm not sure what their criteria are for working with people.
Okay. No programs, though, that you know of that are specifically for this purpose?
Not that I know of.
Okay. And from your perspective, then, being a supports coordinator, how does it feel trying to help people who are being put into this position where their independence is being kind of taken away with the personal care supports being cut?
It's very frustrating because, you know, I think a lot of people that go into this field in the first place are very caring people and they really want to help people. And so you get into a position where you think, okay, I'm going to be able to help people, and then the government, whether it be the state or the federal or whatever, steps in and says, no, you can help them, but you can only help them this much. You know, it's very frustrating to those of us that really want to help people because we look at the people and we say, you know what, we can help you, but you can't go get this job because we don't have enough staff in place for you. You don't have the supports that you need to be able to do that. So you can live semi-independently, but only up to a point.
And overall, how do you think that affects the quality of life of people with disabilities?
It makes it worse. It makes it bad because, you know, I know as a person, I would want to, if I want to go out and do something, I want to be able to go out and do it. If I want to get a job, I want to get a job. If I want to go to the store, I want to go to the store. But if you have somebody with a disability that relies on having to have staffing supports in order to go out and do these things, and your staffing supports are being cut, there goes your quality of life.
And how about access to these services in the first place? Not just the people that are already getting it. Is it difficult to access these services?
Very difficult. I know I've heard of a couple of cases just recently where people had children that were autistic, adult children that were autistic, and they went through the channels to try to get them services and they were denied.
Okay, well, that pretty much concludes our interview. Thank you, Natalie.
You're welcome.